The war taking a devastating toll on children. In Gaza, tens of thousands of kids are displaced from their homes and schools, trying to survive in a war zone. And in Israel, we're learning more about the children who Hamas held hostage. The Wall Street Journal reporting on the psychological scars ingrained on these kids for years to come.
One Israeli doctor tells the Journal that a young girl began mimicking the men who held her captive, shouting, "Shut up, sit down, don't make any noise," in Arabic. Another says the kids, quote, look like shadows of children.
Our very own Trey Yingst has been covering this war since it began. He just got back from touring one of the Israeli towns hardest hit, Be'eri Kibbutz, where Hamas launched its deadly assault, claiming the lives of more than 100 people and taking dozens hostage.
Trey joins us now live. And Trey, what is life like in the kibbutzim these days?
Yeah, John, Sandra, good afternoon. We just returned from Kibbutz Be'eri 75 days after the October 7th massacre. This time, though, when we visited, we were joined by survivors of that attack. And it was an emotional day for so many in southern Israel, oftentimes going to their homes for the first time since that tragic moment in early October. Ophir Engel, an 18-year-old, was visiting his girlfriend that day. He talked about the psychological terror that he ensued and experienced after being taken into Gaza by Hamas fighters. Also, another young girl talking about her father, who is still held inside the Strip. Here's a brief look at our visit this afternoon. More than 70 days after we first arrived in Kibbutz Be'eri, we have returned to speak with survivors from the horrific October 7th attack. Those like Ella bin Ami, whose parents were kidnapped and held hostage by Hamas. Her mother was released last month as part of a late November ceasefire deal. Her father, Ohad, remains in Gaza.
I can't describe you what I'm feeling. It's just that my heart is broken to pieces, to so many pieces. It will never be whole again because every piece is a piece I lost here.
The 23-year-old and her sister returned to Kibbutz Be'eri today, where they once again called for their father to be released.
Until my dad wouldn't come back, until all the hostages wouldn't come back, we are still living the 7th of October.
The destruction and smells still remain today, 71 days after we first visited that kibbutz. When we were there just after the massacre took place, there were bodies strewn throughout the area. Much of the neighborhood has been cleaned up. More than 1,000 residents lived there before. Only a few remain today, but we are told by local residents they are determined to return to their homes. They will not let Hamas win this battle. John, Sandra?
So on that point, Trey, if Israel does not destroy Hamas, if Israel were to give in to international calls for a ceasefire and leave Hamas in place in Gaza, would the folks going back to places like Kibbutz Be'eri, Nir Oz, and others, would they ever feel safe?
They wouldn't. And that was part of what that young girl told us, was that she felt she was out of control that day. She had no ability to protect her family. And you hear this so often from loved ones who watched their family members dragged into Gaza by Hamas. And there is an effort by Israeli leadership, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to destroy Hamas for that reason. You talk about some of these other communities. In Nir Oz, for example, we've been following the story of 79-year-old Chaim Peri, who is still held by Hamas in Gaza. Hamas released a hostage video featuring him, and we were with his granddaughter at the time in Tel Aviv, and she burst into tears as she watched the video. These families want to return home, but they have to get their loved ones back first. And that's part of what's taking place today. In Cairo, we understand Ismail Haniyeh, the leader of Hamas, traveled from Doha. He's meeting with Egyptian negotiators. There are talks on the table right now. But as it stands at the moment, the Israelis will continue their efforts against Hamas leadership inside Gaza until the organization, at least in the Strip, is destroyed.
And Trey, just remarkable to note that we are just now learning about these individual stories of these hostages, including children who were taken into captivity, and just the awful, brutal things we are learning about their time, and some of the things that were done and said. And this is just the most awful part of war. And time will tell as far as the stories that we will hear from those hostages.
Absolutely. And the Israelis continue to interrogate Hamas fighters that they captured or even arrested inside Gaza as they operate in the northern and southern part of the Strip. And Hamas's elite Nukba force was conducting many of these attacks. And you see in this neighborhood, Kibbutz Be'eri, they were not targeting soldiers. This was not a military base. This was a quiet community known for its printing press, and it turned into a killing field on October 7th. John, Sandra?
Just so difficult. Every single story that we have heard. Trey Yingst, thank you for telling all those stories. Thank you for your continued reporting from there.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.